The most important thing music lends to a game is the emotional part. And this is something music does better than any other thing.
Sound is 50% of the experience. You can play a game without sound, but sound will convey the emotions that we have written and planned for. It connects the unconnected. We are approaching launch, and I'm here in London to watch the beautiful soundtrack being recorded at AIR Lyndhurst.
It's been in my mind since the very beginning that we have to try and record this at AIR. The sound of the hall is, in my mind, it's the best place in the world to record. And also the sense of scale that it lends to a production like this is exactly what we need. It gives us this huge sound that we cannot achieve anywhere else. The other thing that is equally important is the level of the musicians here. It's a level of perfection that you don't really encounter very much.
Being there and hearing the songs has been a fantastic experience. We're looking forward to get all this great music into the game.
When Arild first approached me with this project, he said it was Dune. And I got very inspired to work. I could see so many things that we could do with the music. It is always a bit of a challenge to work on something that other people have worked on before you. Hans Zimmer's score from the films is spectacular music, and you have to take that into consideration when you're working on the same IP.
Knut is particularly interesting. He has great anthemic songs, and it was natural for me to get in touch with him when we started this project. So we experimented quite a bit in the beginning. The Dune books, there is fantastic lore. It's an established universe in every way, but it also have these limitations. There's no computers, there's no gunpowder in the world. It's not the typical digital sci-fi slick soundscape you're used to in many games.
In the game, you can be anyone you like, you can belong to any faction. So there are very few areas and situations in the game that are purely Atreides, purely Harkonnen, purely Fremen. So you have to approach it in a different way.
Knut is a classical composer. He composes for orchestra, but we started out experimenting with synthesizers, and that was a really fun exercise to see what he would come up with. We definitely wanted these heavy synths, broken up brass and huge arcing strings. Arrakis is just a huge open landscape, ice cold at night, burning hot at day. You're alone as a player, and we really needed the music to fit and work with the landscapes. We came up with pillars for what we want to achieve. One of the pillars we wanted to use was flow, which means how sound needs to flow over time, not be too intrusive. The next pillar was information. Information is very important to players, and sound plays a big part of that. And the last pillar is evocation. We want to evoke feelings with our sound design.
From the very beginning, we decided that the music should be written in D. D because it's a very practical to write in, with everything recorded in the same tempo, in the same key. We have different parts, we have different layers. Suddenly, we have endless possibilities for variation.
The deliveries from Knut are delivered in stems, which are interchangeable and layered, so we can play around with it and adapt naturally to any situation. What we might start with is ambient music, supporting the normal game scenario, a player walking around, maybe building, doing survival gameplay, just beautiful music to support the visuals. Then suddenly a war might appear, or you might be attacked by a terrible scavenger. We need the music to change fast. We have a traditional adaptive music system where we use horizontal layering and vertical layering to do that.
On this project, I've been able to do a lot of creative things with the music that I haven't been able to really work with before. It allowed me to step out of the box of traditional orchestral thinking and explore a much bigger musical world. Windsack is an interesting track. The vocalist is very central here. The singer in this track, she represents Mother Arrakis, the voice of Arrakis. She's the voice of the desert. It doesn't become music before you put a human in there. And that human makes it music. And every now and then you meet a performer that can really elevate your music and your intentions. You just feel in awe. It's like a religious experience. It's just there. You cannot really imagine how you could write it down because you can't. You cannot write this down. You rely on someone that can actually bring it to life. We are extremely happy that we were able to do this here and with these people. The musicians are such a high level that you cannot really get that anywhere else. It's been an amazing experience and it's elevating our game to a different level.
In terms of iconic sounds, we try to do what we think is right, and you never know what will become iconic. It could be a small sound, it could be a UI sound reminding you of a sandstorm approaching. There's the worms, which are maybe the most iconic part of the books. It's been very interesting to work with these worms and try to come up with our own soundscape for them. In the books, they are described, sound-wise, as just hiss of sand. What you will hear when the worm approaches is you might hear your vehicle shaking, your building shaking. Sandworms are divine environmental creatures, not monsters. They will breach through the ground and make huge, breathy screams, but still we try not to make them too monster-like. Sound is increasingly important in this type of games, and in general today I think it's more respected than ever. You have the technical aspects where sound needs to convey information. Sound design can tell you what's inside a box, what's the technology behind this. We want players to be able to close their eyes and just listen to the soundscape and the wind and what's going on to understand where they are, whether it's in Sheol, which is in a radioactive area, the Red Desert, is known as Vermilius Gap, or the opening area, Hagabas in South. It's truly wonderful to work with sound and have a great team to work with, and such an amazing IP as Dune to explore.
The most important function of music in visual media is to lend emotion to the visuals. And this is something music does better than any other thing. Another very important function of the music is to create a sense of time and space. What it does for the game is that it helps transport the player into a new universe, to a strange new world, to the world of Dune, to Arrakis.